Tell me the Gonzo avatar doesn't look like it's just cringing at something where it's just like... It doesn't look like it's supposed to be the smiling wind-up monkey. It looks like it's just like it just saw something it can never unsee, and it is extremely unhappy about it. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Turn the sound down. I'm tired. Not as tired as yesterday. Had a long event today. Longer event. I did not do as well. Given that I won yesterday, of course, it's unlikely I do as well. Or better, obviously. But, yeah, I didn't even top 8. I ended up... I don't know where I ended up. Probably at, like, 9th to 11th or 12th, something like that. I would have bubbled out on breakers. But either way, didn't take it down. That's the part that matters. So we're going to speed run some viewer games because, well, we got a patch coming. By the time this goes live, the patch will already be live. We will be doing another Face Your Fears podcast with Karst, and we're going to talk about our initial feelings on the patch. I'm not going to have a whole lot of time to examine it because of other real-life things going on. So we'll see how things go. I'm excited for it. There are some really cool things. I know I didn't do a like first impressions breakdown of the trailer or anything this time around. I would like to, but the reality is between when the trailer dropped and now being when this goes live on YouTube and the patch actually hitting, there's just not going to be time. So we'll talk about it with Karst, get Karst's feelings on the matter, and we'll go from there. Now, I am going to say people need to favorite their games because, once again, we're missing some. Let's see here. Did this one... So the first one didn't make it because it dropped off the profile. The second one maybe is the same boat. Let's do it. The other thing is I don't know if people maybe are misspelling their name or their opponent's name or something. Because, like, this isn't even on here at all. Okay, we do have this one, so we'll do this. All right, here we go. We have somebody new to viewer games, and that is Gundam rockin'. Yeah, you gotta love the slammer head avatar. You don't see that very often. First time submitting a game, fighting an opponent higher level with a big finale. All right, let's see what we got. We got 30. Oh my god, we got 30 turns. So much for that speedrun chat. We got 30 turns here on Never Forever, as mentioned. Gundam, a newcomer to viewer games. It's funny, I was actually talking a lot about Gundam today. Maybe not Gundam specifically. Excuse me. Hold, please. My throat's a little sore from having to, like, when you go to a tournament, and like, you just have to yell a lot because there's so many people crammed into a very tiny area. It gets very loud. It's the point where I was talking about today. I kind of want to wear noise-canceling headphones just to avoid tinnitus. But yeah, we were talking about Gundam because apparently there's going to be a Gundam card game because Bandai loves producing games and then not supporting them. The truth hurts. Truth hurts. But anyway. Hey, it's you! Welcome. Welcome. So we're looking at a rather abnormal opener, I will point out, although I want to speed run these. We got level 12, we got level 7. We do have a level 5 disparity, we'll say. I mean, that's obviously different on different phobies, but 3, as I've said on many occasions before, is kind of where things get screwy. But Bad Guy has allowed our hero to cover the center panic point. They get a 3 ranger online, they being our hero. And, yeah, the Bad Guy is not in a great... Wait, what? Oh, my brother in Christ. I guess this is okay. Okay. That's fair. Do get the double takedown, but it's only 1 keys, remember. And this is probably the element where Bad Guy forgot. We can't quite get to the jar at the moment. Unless we get a boop here. Doesn't appear like we're going to get a boop. Probably just going to get some pokes from the repeller. We might get a boop just to displace everything back a little bit. Like, that's reasonable. Puts a little damage on stuff. That jar is absolutely hurting. Minotaur notably coming in to supplement the team. Minotaur has 3 toes. He's got 3 toesies. Important factors to keep in mind, chat. These are the things that make or break games. The toe count on Minotaur. Unfortunately, Murderwing goes down, so our hero is hemorrhaging a number of phobies, but at this stress level, it's unlikely that there are too many healing phobies. It is possible for Bad Guy to pop out a Clinica right now, and they might get a lot of value out of it, truth be told, because our hero doesn't really have a great way to collapse on their team. Like, you don't have a great invasion force. The Halfy here is, as always, suspect. I said it on the Monster of the Week video, which will go up live after this. I think I've said it before, but, like, I think it's kind of expected of me. All right, Bad Guy, you're just being goddamn lazy now. Like, come on. Come on. Just letting it connect. I mean, at a certain point, I guess there was only so much they could do to prevent the connection, but, like, the chip damage got there. Obviously, Bad Guy not interested in healing phobia. I'm pretty sure by level 12, you should have access to Clinico. Stress level 12. Like, yeah, you have Oopsie, baby. You 100% have access to Clinico. Baby, what is you doing? Okay, so here's the thing, and I never want to ever take away from... I never want to bash Bad Guy, and I don't want to take away from the plays our hero makes. But, like, what the hell is Bad Guy doing? Like, if you have a level advantage, you got to exploit it. All right, they're going to go, I have bigger numbers, I guess. But you can just boop the... I mean, the Cerberus is obviously going to get there thanks to the tiles, but you can just kind of boop it, not forever, but for a long time with Repeller. Jar is the final phobie. You know, Bad Guy has an opportunity here, but because of their positioning, like, this Oopsie Baby is wildly out of position. Please tell me they power down Halfy. I will go bananas. I really want them to power down Halfy. This is why this game is 30 turns. Boop. Yep. And the Cerberus may not even want to be there. It may have to continue walking back. Do get some pot shots here. Halfy will be able to retreat. It will expose the well, it doesn't really expose the Repeller because only the Oopsie Baby can connect with it. Yeah, the Halfy being a body blocker here is fine. The only reason I would have thought to move it is because it does allow for, well, an easy takedown, A. And B, it lets Cerberus heal a little bit. When you have something that's that big of a mound of HP, you don't want to give them the opportunity to heal, if you can help it. No, there's no way. I was trying to think, like, was there a way to have push the Oopsie Baby into the pit, but I don't think that was ever going to happen. Also, notably, Cerberus, 5 toesies compared to Minotaur 6, and Sparky's 4. I guess Bachelor has 4 toes, technically. And do you think there's spines in there? Like, it's just a singular, like, finger bone? How strong is that? You think about it, like, it's just on those four points. All right, Bad Guy's daring our hero to charge in. But I imagine our hero can just sit there. Like, they had a life advantage. This is not an enormous disparity. Like, you can just, yeah, this is a good play, good block. Take down the Bachelor, get a little bit of spare damage. The Minotaur will eat some damage, but it's not going to die. Oh, no, it had another move. Okay, never mind. I was going to say, it's not going to die to the Oopsie Baby, but Either way, bad guy's just getting dismantled here. That animation felt like it went very slowly. Pop. See, this is what you're supposed to do. As compared to the was it Viewer Games or Monster of the Week last week, where we watched somebody just like, oh, the double kill from Minotaur, and then there was only the good boy. I don't think he can put the team on his back here. But yeah, whoever submitted a game last week and their opponent just like refused to ever engage their oopsie baby. And it's just like they ended up losing as a result. Pow, got him. Well played. With a little help from bad guy. A little help from bad guy. GG. Alright, chat. Let's take a look at the next one. Like I said, we gotta kind of speed run these because they will get broken by the patch, so hopefully nobody decides to try and submit games in the midst because, surprise, it won't work. They will break, and you will not get your game on stream. Let's just double check something. So, no. It was not favorited. It is back from the 16th, so that is no longer on your profile. All right. Chat, we got some learning games. Put your thinking caps on. I love how Karst has yet to change their... Because you do start with Gravedigger, right? Is Gravedigger... No, it's Razormouth. Right? Razormouth is the initial avatar, right? Oh, Jesus Christ, Karst. Of course Karst does this to us. Of course Karst does this to us. It's a 42-turn game. I'm trying to speedrun these, and everybody's making it long. A demonstration of how to abuse the Phobie cap. Abusing Phobie cap is important. I am curious. Like, I'd love to know. This is why I periodically ask the devs if they'll do an interview. Obviously, it doesn't happen to this point, but I would love to know at what point did the Phobie cap come in, and what issue was it trying to resolve? Because I do wonder if there was a potential strategic problem where, like, the optimal strategy is just flood the board and, like, just keep spamming stuff. And it doesn't matter, because then you have more actions than your opponent. I wonder if that came up, or if they were always intending to have a cap because of technology reasons, because of, you know, they wanted that particular gameplay loop. I don't know. Either way, Karst setting up here. The Gravedigger feels weird on this map, but we'll see how Karst puts it to use. Bad guy with a very early shove shark, which is, I mean, that's fine. Double turret out of Karst. I don't mind that to kind of lock down the middle, unless they're going to go... I guess I could just go Repeller, but like... What? I mean... So we did watch, I think during Monster of the Week, there were some very interesting Blasto Shove Shark games. And... I mean, I get it, but, like, I don't know. Let's see what we got here. Glob is the answer out of Karst. Are we going to see an Akira? Given the Karst said they were abusing the Phobie cap, I'm assuming not. What? Dude, that panic point is not that important. One, two, three, four, five, six. Cupcake being a sacrificial Phobie means that this clearly can't be the point in the game Karst was referring to. Tick is gross. Shove Shark! Shuffle Shark Glob. Yeah. Name a more iconic duo. Probably Shove Shark in anything, right? This Boomer is surviving a lot. What? Okay, so Karst was talking about this recently, I think. How Finnegan is not really the answer for Glob, because if Glob goes in, it's going to kill whatever it eats. I don't know that I 100% agree, because A, most people don't do that. B, it isn't always easy. We do have 7 Phobies here, but Cupcake could be sacrificed. Alright, so we're just trading back and forth here. Bad guy probably thinks they're in a great position. It's like, Karst has to do something. I don't have to do anything. But the game plan here, clearly, get all the keys available and then go into whatever your plan is. So the first Phobie burning is Frosty. That maxes Karst out. Now, bad guy could get cute, boop the Blasto in, but that's just not gonna... I don't think that's gonna end very well. I think bad guy's trying to offer up the Boomer as a sacrificial Phobie, but that ain't gonna happen. Karst is just not gonna kill it, most likely. And probably just take the bottom panic point, like the one across from Stabby. I could see that happening. Yep. Just gonna walk the team up, and there's no way that bad guy can interact other than sacrificing the Cupcake for minimal to no gain. Which is also fascinating that they have yet to do that. But like I said, I guess they feel they're just ahead. 18 keys to 14. Now what are you gonna do, bad guy? Yeah, I like keeping the Shove Shark back there or something back there just to body block the Boomer from trying to do the same thing in the top right. Assuming that's the reason. But given the positioning, like... The Bachelor lived? That's... Yikes. I'm a little surprised that Karst allowed the Bachelor to die. I mean, you can just do this and keep trading the panic points. It does force you to invest some amount of keys. Not that many, but... Alright, so we are going to go beat on the Boomer. Here's the inevitable Akira. Like, this was going to happen, right? And I agree. Bad guys kind of... It's hard for me to say the bad guys hosed, because they have so many keys available, but they don't seem interested in... At a certain point, you just have to accept, like, offer something up. Send the Finnegan in and just attack, like, 10 turns ago. Or whatever. Obviously, Karst is not interested in killing the Boomer, so you gotta do something. I do like Karst leaving the Boomer alive to lock them out, since they've clearly demonstrated they have no interest in burning Cupcake. Wait, can you not burn Cupcake if they're at full health? You have to be able to, right? Yeah, we've definitely seen that before. I'm just trying to think of a reason why bad guy hasn't popped Cupcake. Karst back in the driver's seat with the panic point advantage. Bad guy remembered, oh yeah, I can just stick the Boomer on the lava and let it die. That's actually really funny. It's going to take a little bit. Chat, I just had some of the worst pizza I've ever eaten since I was in college. It's actually amusing to me. Like, I guess I couldn't make a pizza from scratch. Like, and I guess I could, but like, it probably wouldn't be very good. But like, dude, some of these places, they're just terrible. It's so bad. Alright, we get a smiley as the anti-Akira, which is like... okay. Now, I didn't see whether this was arena or async coming in. I know Karst tends to prefer async, but I am forced... What? What was the point? I don't know what the point of that was. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So, like I said, Karst tends to prefer async, so I have to imagine that every turn is testing all the Akira possibilities for this. Of which there's probably been a lot. I'm waiting for the inevitable Akira pull into Frosty Freeze, and then the game kind of just ends, right? So you can glob the Blasto, but as mentioned before, the Finnegan is supposed to be the anti-glob here. You're clearly not eating the Blasto in a single hit, right? All right, 13 keys remaining for bad guy. I don't know what this glob is doing. But panic point advantage, Karst once again. Karst does have to be very careful because there aren't a lot of options for reinforcements at this stage. And admittedly, bad guy's entire team is being carried by this Blasto at the moment. And now Fire Ant. The Fire Ant's actually kind of an interesting counter. Aside from being fire on its own, just like the fire trap could make Frosty Freeze very awkward. Alright, we're gonna boop the bow. I mean, we end up losing the Gravedigger eventually. I don't... Well, it'll probably die this turn because the Fire Ant will remove it. Karst has been very patient with this Akira. I feel like there had to have been a couple of Akira pulls before this that would have been alright, but not necessarily crippling. Bad guy's final phobie is in fact a puff. Interestingly enough, Karst still has 5 keys remaining. It's happening! Who is getting globbed here? Like, what is the plan? You can get a good freeze onto the Blasto and the Finnegan, but that's probably not worth. You could... Oh, you get a triple freeze here, though. Blasto, Puff, Shove Shark. That seems alright. I don't know what the hell Shove Shark... What was Shove Shark doing there? What? It's just running laps? That's funny. So you can try and thaw some stuff with the Fire Ant, but it's not a lot of time to try and make something happen. Very patient game played by Karst here. I don't know if this really fits the description, though. I mean, obviously, bad guy was not doing something. This is actually pretty sick. How often do we see Akira AoE hits like this matter? Over 1,000 damage on the primary target. Wow. Can't believe Blasto didn't die there, though. I mean, it probably will. Glob getting in there, and bad guy doing precisely nothing. So what I was going to say is I don't know how much of this was... Banking up allowed Karst to then set up this big wombo setup with Akira and Frosty. But Bad Guy had outs. Like, they could have popped the cupcake. They could have just parked the boomer on the lava earlier if they wanted to, in order to free them up and allow them to be able to commit other stuff to the board. Even afterwards, it didn't feel like Karst was so far ahead that it was impossible for Bad Guy to try and claim it. You know, like, once the keys were freed up and they were able to commit something else to the board, it just... I mean, the Blasto was weird, to be honest. Like, most of the time when I see Blasto, it's like, that's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. But GG, well played. Alright, let's see what we got. There is another Karst game in the queue. Hopefully we will get to that later on. Hopefully they aren't all a million turns. This one is in fact not 1 million turns. It's 28 turns. I don't even know how I survived. The name of my opponent probably says it all. Chaos Gun? Alright, sure. Ugh. I'm tired, chat. I'm looking forward to my bed. Not gonna lie. I gotta admit, I'm wiped. So what do we got out of here? Out of the old noobsim. Noobsim with the somewhat classic 111 key plus cassowary opener. Neck hurts. My neck was getting better for a while, and then I must be sleeping weird again. Cyclops. Cyclops! 2 Cyclops, huh? I'm sure I've talked about it before, but Cyclops reminds me of Real Monsters, and I'd love to know if the art direction for it was related to that. Boomer down. Spatula down. I mean, we're going to replace down here, most likely, with the cat. Baba Yaga coming out of Bad Guy. It's a little John Wick action. I've still never seen that movie yet. I do own it because it was like, I forgot where I was in that. Counter John Wick? John Wick 2? Is there a tagline for John Wick 2? Like, is there, or is it literally just called John Wick 2? But yeah, I still haven't seen it, even though I own it because I got the movie cheap, like one of those bargain bin DVD things. Leela, what the hell is happening in this game? You know what's wild? This game takes less time than the previous one. The previous one had no traps. Well, it might have had a trap. We just didn't see any traps. Double turret. Sure. So how come Cyclops doesn't have spikes on the elbow, like the vertical elbow? On the left and right arms, it looks like it has spikes on the... it has one spike on the left shoulder. Or like the away shoulder, because the models rotate. And then it looks like it has a spike on each of the elbows. And then like what I guess is the spine? Doom, huh? Oh my god. What the hell is this game? Alright, we've hit unhinged game number 1 for the evening. What is this game? Doom? Wait, is Baba Yaga not placed any traps? I just realized. No! Cassowary. This game is Phobies. You think you may have heard of it? It's new to me. It's new to me. Oh my god! Why are these purple and that one's gray? I assume that's a Baba Yaga trap. Excuse me, a John Wick trap. This Tooth Fairy. Building up a collection. At least 2 takedowns. Smiley might be a problem for Team Dimensional over here. Our hero's Doom Doom is putting in work. I mean, it's only going to matter if they win the game. Spoiler alert, I think we know what the outcome of the game is. Halfway through, we're getting an Innocuous that will, of course, put a damper onto Smiley's plans. Shove Shark. Kind of predictable at this point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Maxed out on Phobies, though. Only 3 keys left. Our hero with 8. We're not seeing, like, a big panic point advantage, so our hero is going to have to fight through this at some point. Given the quantity of healing spas, like, this chip damage isn't necessarily going to do it. Oh, the... Wait. What? What color does the... I don't know who's... Because I could have sworn these bottom traps were revealed to be bad guys. But then our hero just played one here. And this top one I don't think is theirs. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. SpaghettiOs. I don't remember. Was that the commercial? Where did that line come from? Cyclops and John Wick getting diseased. I don't think that's how they got John Wick. The worst part about Smiley must be the animation. I'm pretty sure it's the animation. Alright, Lava's gonna clean out that Smiley. Doom Doom pushing the panic point advantage. The problem is that Cyclops is going to be very vulnerable. The bad guy with only 3 keys in order to put more stuff on the board to claim panic points. And the trench warfare has, well, it's been underway for a while. It's been underway for a while. Maggie. Yeah, I don't think any of these... I guess maybe... Nah, that trap wouldn't have got it. Not only is "Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs" from a commercial, it was the first slogan from the first commercial back in the 60s. That I didn't know. I mean, I figured it was in the commercial. I didn't know it was from the very first commercial. That's kind of funny. Cyclops trying to get whatever value it can. Good challenge pull play there. End up claiming the panic point, not being in the lava. Pop goes to Cyclops, unfortunately for our hero. Down goes Baba Yaga. I'll be honest, I was very worried about Leela being problematic with the 2 move. But it seems to be alright. Like, it doesn't... I don't remember the last time we saw Leela before this. Maybe there was a Monster of the Week game where somebody had tried a weird opener with Leela on, like, Last Rites or something, I think. And it didn't go great, so... It's actually weird to think about. The product debuted in 1965. My parents were both older than SpaghettiOs. That is kind of funny. Time is a weird thing. Time is a weird thing. I mean, usually, like, the time dilation things that people like to refer to where they, like, it messes with your brain is, like, when you think about the dinosaurs and their relationship to other dinosaurs versus modern day stuff. And, like, there are some dinosaurs that are separated from each other farther than, excuse me, farther than they are from modern day. There's a lot of other things that are in the, like, pseudo time dilation category. Yeah, at this stage, our hero is effectively completely taken over. I don't see any way that bad guy can ever kill this Hydra. They don't have any range outside of Doom Doom. The traps are mostly irrelevant. And I think they see the writing on the wall. Which is good. This could have easily been like a 60-turn game if bad guy just ran away. Oh, that's a cool challenge play to get the kill on Jill there. Very well played by noobsim here. This was a weird game to navigate. I still don't like traps. But it's interesting that Doom Doom plus single trapper beats Doom Doom with double trapper. And Doom Doom, admittedly, because we love to crap on Doom Doom, Doom Doom put in some decent work identifying where all that stuff was, because it would have been very easy to blunder into one of those and just get clobbered. So, well played. Well played there, noobsim. I don't know why I hide the... It's now habit, but, like, there's almost no reason to hide the viewer game endings, because, like, everybody's submitting wins. It's very rare that we get a loss. But we do have Daniel T. Robot. 2 out of 2 of my Phobies doctors, Oliver and Outwitter, would not recommend what I do in this game. Turn 12 is when Bill Cipher activates Weird Mageddon, and the crowd asks me, why would you do that? What? What the fuck is this sentence? What? It continues. I take my chance even if I crash in an active volcano because... All right, hold on. Are you okay? Mr. Robot. Are you all right? It feels like you had a stroke. I take my chance even if I crash in an active volcano because sitting back and doing nothing for 45 turns is really boring. Also, my name is supposed to be Daniel the Robot. I just didn't have enough characters in the name to fit my IGN. My motto when dive bombing, we do not care, and the result may be interesting like in this game. Okay. What? That entire thing was a roller coaster of fever dreams. Sure. I don't even know what the fuck to say. The thing that messes me up with dinosaurs is that they were first discovered in 1824, so a lot of our founding fathers never knew about them. George Washington was already dead before humans knew of dinosaurs. At least if Jurassic Park trivia book is to be believed. I'd have to look that up. I don't know the exact dates. I'd like to believe that they were probably only, like, officially discovered as like modern classification would go. It's very difficult for me to believe that at no point in human history prior to that has anyone ever, and when I say that, like, of course, some random person dug up a dinosaur bone at some point, right? And didn't know, or, like, didn't care, or had no one to show it to, or whatever. But, like, there were a lot of civilizations over a very long period of time that, like, they had to have dug something up and been like, this is a cool-looking bone. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm wrong. Dude, what is it with the Dooms tonight? Is Doom... Also, by the way, bad guy with the Gonzo avatar. I don't think I've ever seen a Gonzo avatar. That is so weird looking. Tell me the Gonzo avatar doesn't look like it's just cringing at something where it's just like... It doesn't look like it's supposed to be the smiling wind-up monkey. It looks like it's just like it just saw something it can never unsee, and it is extremely unhappy about it. So, advantage hero due to Fire Ant on this map. There is the Doom, but, like, you gotta commit the Doom, and then the Doom dies. I don't think this is a good Doom map. I don't know. I also don't know if there is a good Doom map, but we saw it do well in the last game, so who the hell knows? Also, a weird thing not related to dinosaurs, but going back to SpaghettiOs, if you find really old print ads, they sometimes had the slogan, the greatest invention since the napkin, which is a very bizarre claim. I kind of get why they would do it, because SpaghettiOs, it's like, oh, you give it to a kid, it's going to be a mess, and I imagine that's part of the ad. But, like, usually people say the greatest thing since sliced bread. Like, that feels like, maybe it's a modern thing, but that seems like it's a way more common idiom, right? All right, we're getting the push. This is probably a dead Ginsting. So our hero is opening up themselves to the big Puff punish, because the Puff can get a pretty significant bomb here. I don't think bad guy can go for it, though. Notably, they do not have Gonzo on the board, so they can't just Gonzo up this Puff, which does leave it a little bit vulnerable, but that is a 4 Phobie cookout. Oh, no. Oh, no! Oh, we're just claiming the panic point? I mean, the Inoculus is probably dead. I guess this was the... Yeah, it turned 12, so that was the push. That was the YOLO push. Does anybody actually say YOLO anymore? I don't think I've ever heard someone say YOLO unironically. However, I did at one point have to explain to someone, like, something happened, and I said, well, you only live once. And they're like, really? Did you just say YOLO? And I'm like, that predated YOLO by a very, very long time. Like, let's calm down. Akira coming out. Multiple traps still live. Haffy. Sure. Is Haffy just dead? Haffy's dead. God, Haffy sucks. I want to be like, oh, well, Haffy soaked 3 attacks. I was about to say, what is this? Like, right here. Kind of where my... Because I was like, oh, what's wrong with my green screen? And it's like, oh, it's Jill's head. Hero cooking at least a good chunk of bad guys' team. 2 keys to 5 keys remaining. Jill and Ted's excellent adventure. I'm not gonna lie, Contortio amuses me way more than it should. Like, I don't know what it is that is, like, oddly satisfying about Contortio. But he amuses me every time that he flips out onto the board. Also, notably, since so many of the undead are constructed, like, was Contortio made that way? Or do you think that Contortio existed that way and then was reanimated? Like, the bottom line is, Contortio a zombie? Or was Contortio, like Gravedigger, a construct? There are no seams on him. And clearly the spikes are, you know, growths or whatever. Also, I never noticed the detail. Like, you can see the smoke coming, like, wafting off of the trap. I wonder if that effect is there for the other traps. Or is it only for this because it's a fire trap? Because, like, the embers flying off of it, I think there's purple embers, for lack of a better way to put it, for, like, Leela's trap. Hero just eating the Smiley disease. Not gonna lie, it's not been a good showcase of Smiley tonight either. Pop goes to Smiley. Bad guy needs to just get a little over-aggressive, and our hero can claim this. This might already be too aggressive. Alright, we get the body block from the Shove Shark. Power down on the bow. Alright, this suddenly got way more complicated for our hero. How much... Dude, this fire ant is not long for this world. Can they not just blom the fire ant? Guess they can. Okay, this Puff is actually a little beat up. I thought it was at full health, so... It is possible... Is it possible? Huh. I mean, that's some big AoE going down. Even though the bow is powered down, it's still going to put in work. Dude, how did Bad Guy lose this? It felt like they were so far ahead even after that earlier dive. Yikes. Puff cooked in its own fire breath. That pole... I guess the pole was necessary. I was about to say it seems wildly unnecessary, but I guess it was necessary. Oh, they don't even kill the Shove Shark. GG. This is very well played, Daniel. It, like I exclaimed moments ago, I'm not sure how Bad Guy lost this, because it feels like they should have been way ahead. The Akira did present a unique threat, but... I don't know. That was weird. That was weird. GG. Not quite as unhinged as some of the other games, but... Oops. I think the notes were more unhinged than anything else. Alright, let's see if this game is on their profile. I'm almost hoping it's not, because we had some long games. It is. So we're going to take a look at a dearh game on Xylo. I didn't even... When the hell was this in the pool? Apparently not that long ago, 3 days ago. See it to believe it. Totally fun match and outclass the opponent. It's a Xylo game. I have to imagine this is going to involve, I don't know, maybe a pull, maybe a push, maybe some sort of displacement. I'm just saying. Yeah, displacement. Displacement. Yeah, Chad, I gotta figure out when I'm gonna play at this tournament this weekend. I don't know. I talked to a few people. I don't know if other people run into this. If you talk to other people that are at your level or better, and they're like, oh, well, XYZ. You know, this matchup is good, this matchup is bad, this strategy is good, this strategy is bad, whatever. The actual content of what the specifics are doesn't really matter. But it's weird to me when I talk to somebody and I trust what they're saying, and all of my data points in the opposite direction. And it's just extremely difficult then to figure out, like, well, are they wrong or am I wrong? Because I do trust and respect the people I'm talking to. And then it's like, but I have no way to support the assertion you're making because I'm finding the exact opposite. It's a weird spot to be in. Especially since I have a tournament coming up. How much data do you have versus how much data they have? I don't know. I don't know that it's necessarily quantity of data either. We're going to puff coming out. This is where things are going to get interesting. Admittedly, I like what Bad Guy was doing more than our hero right now, so I'm kind of curious where they're going, because I like Crush more on this map. I haven't played this map in forever because I hate this map, but... And then we get a Shove Shark. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. So our hero's maxed out, but compared to what Karst had shown in previous games, I was about to say, like, or finish saying that Bad Guy's gonna clear something out. Thunder Rocks is... Why did Thunder Rocks happen? I don't understand this. But yeah, I don't know if it's a quantity of data thing. Because, like, that does matter. Absolutely. But I trust that the other people that I'm talking to did their homework. And I've seen their results. So I know that they know, like, these are good players. These are very good players. And deck builders. And I've seen their results. Like, the guy won the last 3 events that I've been at. And like, oh, well, I beat him in the same event. Well, yeah, but I got knocked out by somebody else and he beat that guy. So there are matchups. And so I trust them. But, like, my data, it may just be they are better than me at playing this, whatever this happens to be. Like, this particular strategy. And therefore, I can't get stuff to work. But they can. Maybe. I don't know. So we got a little Akira action here. That whole outplaying your opponent, it becomes a lot easier if you have Akira. Oh, a tractor. Maxed out on both sides. The Boomer is an advantage here in this Bizarro exchange. I've literally never seen that. I've watched an enormous amount of Phobies. I played an enormous amount of Phobies. I have never seen Rusty connect with a Boomer. Yo! We've got a Russell. There is a spa, but it's only a single spa. Multiple dimensionals on the other side. Many non-mechs. We'll see how this goes. I think in the end of the day, if you can't trust your analytical skills, you can't trust your... I don't think it's binary. I don't think it's binary. I think there's room for... And, of course, there's always somebody can be wrong. So, like, you could have strong analytical skills and just still be wrong. Like, nobody's calling it right every time. Alright, so bad guy retreating here. Ooh, what do we got here? We got a block? This is very interesting because you can, of course, get the pull off of the statue. But bad guy's still maxed out. Those 10 keys are locked away. I feel... I'm not going to lie. This feels like a better showcase of what Karst was trying to showcase about catching them when they're maxed out than what Karst did. Because bad guy could have done something about it in that game. Here, bad guy's stuck, and hilariously, the rusty on the boomer play means that like the boomer can't even go somewhere to suicide. Like, it's just going to stand there and soak up a spot on the team. It does go down now. So, bad guys' 10 keys are unlocked. Our hero only has 1 remaining. Gonna claim a whole bunch of panic points and simultaneously put pressure onto the heart, even going so far as to hit the heart with Miss Moffat. Oh yeah, it's time to go all in. What is bad guy's answer? I mean, we know what the answer is. There isn't one. It's lose. That's the answer. Kivo kind of makes sense. I get it. It's an AoE. It's big, but it's not enough. I guess the other problem is that even if you compare notes, you need to establish that all sides played optimally on both sets of data. That is the largest problem with testing. Like if deck A beats deck B, if deck B is piloted by a numpty, doesn't tell you anything. Okay, you might know some of the... I've been seeing the word numpty like so much recently. GG. Well played there, dearh. Well played. But yeah, that I 100% agree with you. The quality of the testing is important. That's why it's important to have solid testing partners. And for people that are here for Phobies and like, oh, what do I care about this? This is important for Phobies too, because when you play Phobies games and it's like, oh, well, this particular strategy on this map or this opener or this response or whatever, none of it matters if you're doing it against people that are bad, because, or you're out leveling them. You know, like that's a more ladder specific thing. It doesn't matter because you probably beat them regardless of what happens. It doesn't matter. Dontinklesnif. Bringing it back. Ace is actually kind of scary to mechanical Phobies, and I can't believe I just realized it. Yeah, Ace is pretty sick. Ace is pretty sick. Noobsim is our map. But yeah, I 100% agree that the quality of testing matters, which is part of the problem with my data. And I was trying to explain that to people today. I was making a joke out of it, but like... So I'm testing, say, Bosk. And I'm told that Bosk is very good into Sabine, who is the premier aggro. I wasn't given a percentage, but I was told, like, it is a really, like... They made it sound like it was almost 100-0. Person who posted the deck. And I'm like, okay, let me try it. And I was getting, like, huge payouts. I'm talking, like, 80-90% win rates. I'm like, all right. Then I started tracking, like, well, these people are not playing well. And I started tracking when they made mistakes that were, like, obvious. And then the win rate dropped to, like, sub 50%, which is kind of where it's at now. Where it's like, if my opponent is not a good player, and I don't think that's what happened with the person who suggested the deck. It's just like, because they test with other people that I know are very good, but I just can't explain why their results are so dramatically different than mine. And until I know what is causing that, it is what it is. All right, so Ace is on the board. Bad guy fully committing to the Speedolas. No fear, not pulling out on this one. Phantom, I'm not going to lie. I feel like if Phantom was dropping Ace on people more often, way less people would complain about Phantom. I do still wonder if... So Blondie is a melee phobie. Like, what are the phobies that people hate the most when Phantom drops them? Because I feel as though it's probably stuff like big Hevos and things like that. I still wonder if... Should Phantom have just been reworked to it can teleport only melee phobies? I think that would have been interesting, at the very least. It maybe forces people to interact with the game on a level and in a way that the devs don't want. And by that, I mean, there was an unwritten rule in Magic, or maybe it was a written rule, I don't know, for design, where the devs did not ever want to reference the rules on a card. So, like... I forget what it was. It wasn't phases. But there was something like that. Where it was like, don't reference the end step or, you know, like your second main phase or something like that. And they're like, we don't want to do that because it like takes the immersion away. It takes people out of the game because it's like, oh, well, I have to know what these weird rules are. And they eventually did away with it. I think they do it all the time now. But it was interesting from a design aspect. And I wonder if that's something similar that the Phobies team is going through, where like they don't want to reference melee versus ranged. Which they reference a lot of other stuff, so I don't know if it really matters, but I don't know. Thursday I realized Lurkana has some really weird rules, and also the game still feels like autopilot. What weird rules? I mean, aside from like the tournament structure, which is asinine. Not that the Star Wars one is significantly better. It has its own issues. It is still weird to me, and I do have to take myself out of it sometimes, when people say that intentional draws are collusion, or could be considered collusion, or whatever, and it's like... I do have to think about it, because like I've always played stuff with the ability to have intentional draws, so not having it feels weird. As compared to having it, which feels normal. Alright, so we're going to get the ace going after Red Speedola here, it looks like. Ace being a monster with over 1,800 damage. Yikes! Dude, do you know 1,800? Like, look at this. This is a level 11. 1,800. Like, that's an enormous amount of damage. If you bounce something, it bounces everything below it. So if you have a stack of shifted cards, you can bounce the whole stack back to your hand. Yes, I do remember that. I do remember that rule. Because it's not... like, they're not attachments. Alright, bad guy has to put a lot of effort in to remove this ace. Does take it down, so it was, what, an 8 key for an 8 key and a 4 key for a 6 key? That didn't seem like a great trade. Motherload going to work here, though. We get the counter. Why is there an ace on the other side to fight Motherload? I don't know about that. I think bad guy's about to learn how aggressive... Ooh, that's a good play. The snipe there. Which is super relevant because one of the best decks currently abuses that. I'm confident that in the design phase they knew that. Like, I don't think that was a mistake. It's fine. Like, you could do it either way, but because they're not attachments, they're supposed to be the same character. Like, it makes sense. And of course, it's red-purple. Dude, red-purple is like the mono-blue of that game. It's super dominant and everybody hates it. I've never looked at a game of Lurkana and been like, those people are having fun. I legitimately don't think anyone has ever had fun playing Lorcana. I refuse to believe that they do. So here's a question. Would it have been appropriate to move... I guess it doesn't really matter, but, like, would the optimal play here have been for Don Tinkle to move the mother load up so that you can't Mr. Tramples through here? Because there's a world in which they kill the Phantom, claim the panic points, and then, like, lock our hero out? I mean, I guess maybe not, because the mother load can always do its AoE to get through. Because hard's at 122. This was actually a very tight game at the end. Kablamo! I just realized we don't have, like, a This Is My Boomstick reference in Phobies, do we? Play a guy that kills your guy. Next turn, okay, I shift onto it, kill your guy, and return the stack to my hand, making it impossible for you to curve out over the next 2 turns. But why would you return it to your hand? Like, what's the advantage of returning it to your hand if you don't... Like, aren't you resetting the board then? Or do you commit another guy to the board somehow from this? Like, are you saying you're doing it with the Merlin stuff? I mean, Lorcana is just not fun, and I remember people getting upset when I said that at a big tournament. It was right before I quit the game. I'm like, it's literally not fun to play. All right, our hero here is Dama, showcasing overpowered phobies who are also overleveled. Nasty. We'll see. We'll see. Lorcana isn't fun. Every game feels like solitaire and there are no decisions. You say that about every game, though. What was the last game that you played that you didn't feel that way, Adona? Don't say Magic. Because Magic does not feel interactive, or at least it didn't. Maybe it's different now. Like, it is... The interaction in Magic is, like, the most cursory level of interaction. All right, Gravedigger openers out of both players. We'll see what the levels are here. 18 to 12. That's a 6 level difference, or 5 in this case. Yeah, this is a pretty significant level deficit. Weirdly enough, the most cursory level of interaction is more interaction than most games have. I think the big thing is it they don't have interaction, or is it interaction you don't like? And I'm not saying that is the problem, but, like, is it something that you just don't happen to enjoy the gameplay loop of? Like, to me, interaction isn't necessarily I play something that kills your something. Like, that is a level of interaction, but it's not really meaningful interaction if you play a guy, I play removal spell, and then you play a guy, and I play a removal spell, or counter spell, or whatever. Like, there has to be decision-making where it's, I play X, so you play Y because I played X, but if I played B, you would have played C, given the option. And there's a level of being able to then bait a player into using something suboptimally to then gain an advantage, which there used to be in Magic. I felt like in the old days when it was like Draw-Go, the problem is that you could also just blindly Draw-Go somebody to death. And I think that even Pokemon has a degree of interaction where if I am doing X and I start, quote-unquote, going off, like I'm setting up and I'm clearly going to get my engine going, or I have my engine going, and if you don't stop it, so it changes what you need to do on your turn to, like, you have to find certain cards so that you can disrupt me versus trying to continue advancing your board state. Now, I think there are other games, like, I think Star Wars is better than that, for example, but... Is this Alistor just dead? No, there's no way. He has a big hurt on it, though. I will say, especially since we were kind of rambling about other stuff and we'll probably continue, that this is always going to be the problem with ladder games. There's no getting around this. And I will also put out there that while this bad guy or other bad guys in the future may not showcase the most appropriate strategy, most appropriate tactics, like, I'm trying to find nice ways to say they're playing bad. But, like, if you assume that bad guys playing bad and, oh, they only won because they're over-leveled, there is absolutely, on the other side of things, on the other side of the fence, they're playing that way because they're over-leveled, because it doesn't matter. 9 times out of, like, people will constantly submit games where they're beating an over-leveled opponent. We had a couple tonight. And that's fine. It is a feel-good moment. I don't think it's a good defense of the leveling system, which, if you're a game designer, you could make that argument. I'm not going to make that argument. We could just debunk it, but whatever. But the point is, 9 times out of 10, a player who's over-leveled will win just due to levels, so they're probably just mentally checking out a lot of the time. Just saying. I think the issue is magic creatures got too powerful relative to spells back in the day. Creatures and spells are both good, but they exist. I don't think they were both good. There were, like, a handful of creatures that were good, and that's it. Everything else was, like, vanilla idiots. Now, spells, I don't want to say spells don't exist, but the creatures are, I mean, they always were spells, technically, but you know what I mean. Like, the creatures are the spells, so they're the same, and therefore, it's the same sort of thing that you have in a game with direct combat, and I think that Magic suffers due to its combat system with this, but the creatures are the best removal. Yeah, Pokemon is different. Neopets functions in a similar way to Pokemon. I think it's interesting, like the concept of funneling your entire turn into a singular attack is very interesting. I think it's a different gameplay loop, and I think that there's more room in there. I haven't tried Altered yet. I am planning on picking up the starters, and I want to try Alestrals because it's allegedly fixed Yu-Gi-Oh! Whenever they come out with their app, and it's, I mean, they have an app for Alestrals, but it's kind of buggy. So I will say our hero's doing a pretty decent job of keeping things rolling here. Like, they're not in a terrible spot, but bad guy does have better numbers, and the hearts are about even. I mean, bad guy's jar is just literally better. Level 19 to level 15. And now we got Hevo 3.0. Yikes. Oh no, what a turn. Oof. If it wasn't the ball game before, it's over now. It's over now. I don't... Ooh, we got the plaid. I don't think it matters, but still pretty cool. You gonna get the Gonzo? Might be able to get the, No, I can't get the attractor. Yikes. Alistor does go down. You take those. Challenge play? Not quite. Yeah, Iono is very important. That's kind of what I was getting at. Like, that's their interaction. It's primarily on the hand axis rather than the board state axis, although you can influence board state. Like, the two main forms of interaction in Pokemon are hand disruption and board repositioning, I guess we'll call it, like all the gust effects, that sort of thing. There are ways to, like, turn off abilities and disrupt people that way. There have been decks in the past where it's like, while this guy's in the active, you can't play X, Y, or Z, or you can't do X, Y, or Z. Ooh, bad guy is clustered up for some juicy klepto hits. But, I mean, that's still a very healthy or fairly healthy Evo 3.0. I don't think our hero has enough damage. Yeah, I kind of get what you're saying with Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Sort of being reverses of each other. Although I don't know if Yu-Gi-Oh! Is that any longer as far as... Because it used to be the monsters were kind of just dummies. Like, the best monsters were just generic, highest, whatever the highest stat is that you could have at the time. Like, whatever was printed. And there were very few with, like, super meaningful abilities. I don't know if that's true anymore, because now, the game is wildly different as far as, like, I mean, they power creep the shit out of it, among other things, so. There's really not much else to say about this game, so. 1800, yeah, it was 1800, and then they finally printed it in 19, and then not long after that, I stopped playing, because I didn't care. I was never super invested in the game. I will say Dama fought the good fight here. Like, there's not much Dama could have done other than this. Again, I don't think it's necessarily... Like, Evo 3.0 is very powerful. Is it overpowered? Maybe, but I don't think it's nearly... I always take issue when people say that something is overpowered in Phobies, because most of the time, it's not nearly as egregious as people make it sound. And it's just frustrating because of other factors. That's why I look at tournaments as kind of the equalizer. Or not kind of, it is the equalizer. But GG. Alright, we got one more game. And then we got some repeats. And then we'll close out for tonight, because I need to go to bed, chat. Quicker game this time. We got Bronze Elf on Fornacified. Over-leveling the guy, but showcases how cool Mr. Tramples is as a unit. Mr. Tramples is, in fact, a unit. I wish that there were more Phobies like Mr. Tramples in the future, since he has such a fun and unique ability. There are a number of things that I think they need to revisit, ability-wise and Phobie-wise, and I think it would be really cool. They would lose their uniqueness, obviously, by definition, because... new things have the abilities, but it would be weird if, like, there was only one freeze phobia, only one fire phobia, only one trap phobia. It's good to have the redundancy at different costs, because then you can see the ability showcased in different ways. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is basically all combo decks. I know that Pokemon could have combo in the traditional... I don't know that Pokemon could have combo in the traditional sense, but I guess Mewtwo is sort of like that. I guess. I mean... I don't think Pokemon has ever had a card that literally said, I win, or, like, collect all the prizes in one fell swoop. I don't think they ever would want to do that, because that is a very card game thing, and at its heart, Pokemon is still... It's supposed to be emulating the video game. Bad guy with a very aggressive repeller here. I don't really get this Gravedigger play. Our hero can just break it, and, like, don't you just lose your Gravedigger here? Oh! I didn't think we'd get one this early. Mr. Tramples, take down numero uno. Oh, bad guy's in trouble. You done messed up, bad guy. Boop. Yeah, except that guy didn't go anywhere. He's also a 3-ranger. Just saying. Gesundheit. Wait, what? Why are we going after the Henrietta? I guess that's fine. It would have been funnier if the Gravedigger cooldown was up so you could heebie-jeebie special the repeller back, but that was obviously not going to happen. K9000. Dude, is the Mr. Trample's gonna sneak around the back? That would actually be hilarious. A Bad Omen? Bad Omen not quite getting it done in an earlier game. I feel as though this Corn put in an equal amount of work as Mr. Trample's up to this point. Alright, probably not enough damage to one-shot this Repeller, but apparently enough damage to take down the K9, and Mr. Trample's continuing its rampage. Is this Stabby dead? Huh. Now it's dead. Also conveniently dies to the fire. Wait, did it? I assume that the Bad Omen thing does not impact the Reflect. It shouldn't. I don't feel like checking. Somebody will just say in the comments. There have been a lot of people recently who are like correcting a lot of things as they come up on stream, and it's like, yeah, I guess that's good. I guess that's fine. Then you can't get to the jar. The jar will end up on the stem. It can just shell the heart. Bad guy's cooked. They were cooked no matter what. How is this Mr. Trample's taking, like, no damage? It felt like bad guy did nothing this game, except fling Phobies out there to die. Kablamo. Got him. GG. Well played, Bronzo. Well played. Alright, chat. We're on the other end. We will clear out the queue because, as mentioned before, the patch is coming. It will break everything. So we're back with another Karst game, this time on Always Watching, another demonstration of how to abuse the Phobie cap, a much quicker game than the last. I did learn, or relearn, I guess, that when you have a name like what Bad Guy has, that is because you had something naughty in your previous name, and it was reset. Because this came up in last week's viewer games or something? I don't remember, but somebody had pinged me afterwards. I think it might have been Karst saying, like, yeah, that's why. Which I do remember, like, there's a lot of stuff, like, this sounds like a very old person thing to say, but, like, I've forgotten more about Phobies than some people will ever know. And this is absolutely one of those things where I just forgot. And, similar to last game, like, some of the interactions between things are just things that I forget. Wonder what their name was. I'm sure it wasn't good. They still gotta fix, like, you need to be able to change your name anyway, speaking of name changes. That's a 4-0 panic point advantage, by the way. What is bad guy doing? This just feels like a weird amount of effort to do what's happening. Karst still maintaining a 3-1 panic point advantage. Bad guy not willing to allow the Gravedigger to get bit by the sock acid. I get it. It's a lot of poison. Getting the bomb here. Cooking the snowball as well as removing the 1 key. Back to 4-0. When does Karst lock this guy out? Because this sure seems like you just win. Karst is just bodying this guy. Alright, bad guy finally equalizes the panic points. We got little double dragon strategy here. I'm not sure exactly what the Noxious is for, other than just the AoE hit, which honestly is a good enough justification. Shove Shark means that both Puff and Noxious's threat level has skyrocketed. 17 keys to 21 left. That's a dead sock acid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7. Again, a sacrificable phobie, but you can't just rusty nothing. Okay, never mind. I thought this is where they get maxed out. It is, in fact, not. Karst just taking the pick available to them. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so here's the thing. You can't lock Karst in the same way that Karst is suggesting they lock their opponent in. And the reason you can't do that is because Karst was able to put on pressure early in the game. Admittedly, it didn't yield a ton. But you are going to be threatening stuff, so you have to interact with Karst's board. There's the lockout. So now, even though the panic points are even, and it could end up becoming a Karst advantage shortly, bad guy has to find a way to free up space so they can actually interact with these things, because Karst could ignore them and just go hard and race. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I mean, the stabby's damaged, but I don't think it's going to die to the poison. It might, actually. I don't know. But bad guy has no way to get extra space. I don't know what this cat is doing up here. And as long as Karst doesn't allow the Rusty to connect, bad guy is effectively... They don't get to put another phobie on the board for the rest of the game. This feels like a better showcase than the previous game of abusing your opponent being maxed out. Now, I guess there's a debate to be had here about whether you should... allow the Rusty to pop versus giving them a triple panic point advantage, but you can just claim the one close to their vault with the Bachelor, so I guess it kind of doesn't matter. I don't know why bad guy broke that obstacle. Get cooked. Rusty down. Razormouth down. Bad guy in shambles. Gonna lose the jar in this stabby too. Yikes. Woo, that's a pretty brutal turn, and Karst had been setting that up for several prior to that. Yeah, I think this is a better showcase of what the point Karst was trying to get across. Russell. I don't know about that one, bad guy. Admittedly, I don't think there's anything they could have done anyway. Like, it just doesn't matter. Lol. The brony for no reason, essentially. I do think the brony had purpose the turn it came down, but at this point, the brony was irrelevant. Good job, Russell. Thank God you were here. Yeah, well played. This definitely was a good showcase of leveraging, locking them out, preventing bad guy from really putting anything meaningful on the board to interact. GG. Well played. Hey, that's a bot. You're going to get banned. I don't know why the auto mod did not catch that. I don't know why the auto mod didn't catch that, because that was like a random URL from a first-time poster kind of thing, a first-time chatter. There's no reason for auto mod to not catch that. All right, chat, I'm going to take a quick break, then we'll finish up the rest of the games and call it an evening. I will be right back. Don't go away. I should have just switched this scene to begin with. We're back, chat. Let's get back to it. Let's see what else we got from the viewers for the remainder. Handful of games that are left for the patch. All right, 20-turn game here from noobsim. My first Genius Akira play featuring Morty. Well, we love to see those. You love to see Morty plays. Who's... So, I now am going to be getting like tons of pings in Discord because I was trying to get the deck list for the event today that I was at. What the hell is this opener? Yeah, bad guy. You done messed up. You done messed up. But I was trying to get the deck list, and then it was like... The place I was at had no service because of where it was geographically, and then I'm like, oh, I need people's Discord names so I can ping them and all this stuff. And then after everybody was leaving, the organizers like, well, here are the deck lists, and I just took pictures of them. Like, I went through all this effort, but now I have, you know, a whole bunch of new people that are pinging me in Discord about the event and stuff, and it's like, all right, now I gotta sift through all these messages. It's gonna be a very busy week, chat. There's a lot of shit going on this week. I got that big tournament coming up that I'm right now stressing about. I'm like really sweating this one because it's... I feel very ill-prepared. I feel like I spent way too much time on a deck and, well, multiple decks that are just... You obviously can only bring one deck to the event, but I feel like I sunk an enormous amount of time into something that I thought was going to be the deck, and then it ended up, it's almost certainly not going to be, and therefore I didn't put enough time into things that actually matter. That's a Finnegan boop on Maggie. Because reasons. Bad guy, this cannot possibly... What are... You're gonna lose the... I don't know about you, chat, but sometimes when I see or hear something and I sigh like that, it's just like I can... The exhalation process of the sigh feels like it just releases more in some scenarios where it's just like I don't quite know how to describe the feeling, but it just... It's just... Why did that happen? You just sent that spider to die. Why do you hate your Miss Moffat? I'm not gonna lie, noobsim. Anything you do from this point almost doesn't matter. Bad guy just is throwing keys away. They also have a Finnegan and a Gesundheit on the board right now, and I have no idea why. The bad guy threw away the Murder Wing and the Miss Moffat for literally -8 keys. And nothing to show for it. I guess they have a 2 panic point advantage, so it's not literally nothing. What? What is happening? Why is this happening? You get the reposition onto the pterodactyl thanks to the yoink. You will end up probably losing your spider and the murder wing, which normally would sound bad, but since you're already up keys and you're pushing there, because actually you might not lose the spider now. Oh my god. Dude. Bad guy is getting cooked. That guy is just getting absolutely smoked. Just stop. Can't you see he's already dead? Noxious. There were like some lines on Noxious's back while it was moving, and I'm trying to figure out... Yep, there's a Morty. Dude, does this thing just die? Alright, this is like physically painful now. Dude, why... Does bad guy have like a humiliation kink or something? What is happening? They're just getting destroyed. Like, they're not doing anything. It's so weird because, like, they're just making plain mistakes. It's not as though you can make an argument that they're trying to set something up or maybe they miscounted or whatever. It's just, no, you're just dead. Like, what are you doing? Kirapol, eliminate Mopsy. I had to think for a second. Alright, so they did this just to... Oh. Okay. Oh, no. Why are there bubbles coming out of Miss Moffat? I feel like we've asked this before. They're not there now, but there were bubbles coming out of Miss Moffat. Boop. Bad guy does get a couple kills. It wasn't a goose egg. That's... There's really nothing to say to that. This game was kind of brutal to watch. Wait, what? Oh, the Akira's gonna go in to kill it? Lol. Admittedly, our hero took a beating on their heart. Opponent's doing a long setup so they can say the line. I mean, bad guy did put an enormous amount of pressure on our hero's heart, so maybe that was their plan. But in the process of doing that, they just lost. I mean, obviously, they just lost via losing everything. But holy crap. It was like every turn they were losing a ton of keys. Based on the hard health, you want to call that game as a close game, but it just did not appear that way. It just absolutely looked like noobsim cooked that guy. Speaking of noobsim, we got a longer one. Another one bites the dust. Akira 3.0 goes burr. Who could have seen that coming? All right, we got the only one because I lost incoming. Yep. Microscopic. Is that the new hotness on this? Hey, we get a Grimes. I think there, if I recall correctly, one of the new phobies I think is supposed to be a Grimes. Which kind of calls back to what we were saying in an earlier game. They need to reuse a bunch of the phobia abilities and skill sets. Dude, what is it with Finnegan tonight? We keep seeing these weird phobies showing up a lot. So I'm looking at Grimes' hand, and in my head, his hand is backwards, but it may not be. Like the pointier part may be the knuckle, and then the squared off part is the edge of the finger. But I originally thought that the squared off part was the knuckle, which means that he has two fingers that are thumbs, essentially, and then one middle finger. I'm not sure. I don't know if he shows that in any other parts of the animation. Sock ass and connects. Dude, why are there so many Finnegans tonight? It kind of makes sense on this map, given the quantity of Abyss tiles, but it's still weird. Panic point advantage, bad guy, 4-3. Why are we... You're gonna muffin the Finnegan? Dude, it can just get repoisoned! You gotta... They're gonna kill it with a murder wing, right? Can Jar kill it? Jar can kill it. Alright, fair. I was about to say, if they pop Muffin on it and then just let it sit there to get repoisoned, that would have been hilarious. Ah. Alright, 6 phobies for our hero. That's an interesting break. Flipping the panic points. This would be an interesting setup for bad guy to try and stall this out. Since we were looking at those karst games, having your opponent max out, but they're not going to do it. They're going to trade. They're going to trade 1 keys. Takedown on Bachelor, sure. We're just trading back and forth. We got the Evo coming down. 10 keys for bad guys, so how's he going to respond here? This Grimes has done nothing. Like, completely irrelevant. Sure. Oh, no. I guess... Alright, so they can do a combo push-pull in order to kill the Hevo if the Hevo advances, but it's obviously not going to. Imagine if we could just pin things like this and it wouldn't keep sliding all over the place. It would be so much nicer. I was actually somewhat disappointed that we didn't get any quality of life improvements in the patch. I know people are whining about balance and whatever, and obviously they need to push the new content, but there's a bunch of quality of life stuff that I wish they would implement. And yes, I've submitted to them multiple times. Alright, bad guy maxed out, dropping the Shove Shark onto the board, 11 keys to 12 remaining. Our hero astutely just collecting some panic points, getting everything set up. Is this a kill? If it is, I don't even know that it's worth it. I don't even think that's worth it. Can you not just kill the... I guess you can't kill them off it? You get a big chunk here, and then the Akira is now supplementing the team. 12 keys remaining for bad guy. But they're maxed out. This is a rough spot to be in if you're bad guy. You have no healers on the board, no way to free up space other than something dying. And you have 12 keys that you can't do anything with. You're going to end up hemorrhaging a ton of stuff. Alright, so we got both germs because... Sure. I don't know. I don't know why both germs are on the board. I guess our hero only had 2 keys left, so they wanted something with higher damage output to assist the Akira, but... Panic point advantage going for our hero. We're getting the dive here. Bad guy's so worried about the Akira, forgot about the Finnegan, and then we get the EBGB special. Locking out the Moffat. Bad guy is cooked. This is where a concession would come in if you could do it without missing out immensely in Phobies. Alright, bad guy responds with their own Gravedigger. Probably not what they wanted to spend 3 keys on, and notably, that maxes them out once again. Dude, that can't be... Oh, good play! Alright, good play, bad guy. Good play. Sniping the Hevo. That's a really good pick. Credit where credit is due. Getting the yoink. That's a dead spider. Right out of the gate. And that's pretty much all she wrote. Despite the kill on the Hevo, there's just no way to stop the Akira nonsense. Akira still is... I mean, it's not as absurd as it was, but it's still very powerful. Still very powerful. Bad guy. There was an attempt made. That's about all I can say. Boom, because reasons. Yeah, it's funny. We spent some time earlier tonight, and we've done it on stream before, talking about the absolutely asinine draw rule in Star Wars. In a similar vein, we really need to fix the surrender situation in Phobies. Because you should be able to surrender and not get penalized at all, let alone as hard as you do in the current state. At this rate, Akira's going to be live again. Bad guy with the panic pointed. Yikes. Dude, does our hero lose this? I mean, you could push the cassowary with the fin again. This will kill both of those. Oh my god. I don't think it was impossible for Bad Guy to hypothetically have won this. But committing in that way seems like a mistake. This is a good positioning by noobsim in order to try and cut off the retreat for the jar. In case they tried to get cute. But this didn't need to happen. You don't have to run away like this, Bad Guy. You're not getting out of this. Just let it go. GG, well played. Yeah, I don't know why Bad Guy was running away at that point. It's like, come on, man. We all know how this is going to end. We all know how this is going to end. You don't need to drag it out. Alright, chat. Last game of the evening. I'm kind of hoping it's a short one. I'm tired. Like, now it's really hitting me. It is naturally not a short game. dearh, another Waffalo Will victim. Well, at least it's going to be a Waffalo game. At least we got Waffalo going for us. We are here on Opticon. Oof, I'm wiped. The day caught up with me real quick. That was something I was thinking about earlier today, is this tournament that's coming up is going to be an 8-rounder, maybe 9, because somebody was telling me today they may have expanded the, attendance limit. But I imagine they're only going to expand it to 128. I don't think they're going to go above 128. Which should be an 8-round event, and that is a very, very long event. I don't want to... I was telling people today, because I was getting kind of frustrated with testing Star Wars, that I am hitting the burnout stage of... I've been working really hard on stuff, so now it's like, okay, I haven't had a break from it. I'm starting to burn out. I know I'll be fine eventually, but, like, I need to, like, push through for this preparation phase, and then maybe take a break on the other side. Because doing this all on my own is getting very difficult. And it's not entirely on my own. I've been talking to and working with a few different people, but it's I still feel like I'm flying solo for most of it, which is not like a knock on them. It's just like, I mean, we're sharing information, but it's not quite the same as what I've worked with in the past, I guess. I don't know. Early Fire Ant, early Muffin, early Stairmaster at a bad guy for reasons. Raid Chargels threatening this Hevo since it did already burn its boop. It was kind of an... I want to say a wasted boop, but it didn't seem like it did a whole lot. And this Hevo is hurting, I just realized. Hey, look at that. Double traps from our hero. You hate to see it. Bad guy, not interested in anti-trap setup, though. No tickles, no doom. Not a lot of one keys to speak of. No trappers of their own to try and trigger the traps. Although, in this scenario, like this kind... What? Okay, sure. This kind of scenario feels that it is more what Doom was designed for, because you could hypothetically stick a Doom in between some of these to soak up the traps, or tickles for that matter. The problem is, you can't, like, test for or try and trigger via your own traps. The Fire Ant traps, because... just simply what it does. The explosion damage, the area, not just the area with the damage, but the area it locks off for the period of time is tough. Stickles is going to die before it even attempts to find another trap. Bad guy. Panic point advantage, blue! Alright, finally healing up. Almost to full that Hevo. There's the Waffalo. We don't have a Shove Shark or anything to enable... And there we are. The Boom play might be more interesting than the Waffalo play. It's not. The Waffalo is more interesting. But we're going to pretend like the Boom play is more interesting because it is cool. We haven't seen too many people do that since the Hakune days. Not too many people like to lean into this play. But giving your opponent that false sense of security, we're kind of on theme for a significant chunk of the games tonight. Either showing off, trapping your opponent with their maxed out team, or in this case, tricking your opponent into thinking you are maxed out. So, when Waffalo was first previewed, I do remember thinking that the parasite is actually Waffalo Will. But I wonder if it is supposed to be the whale, and the whale is, like, producing the parasite? Or maybe the parasite became the whale, and that's just how it reproduces? I'm not sure. Ooh, not even bothering going for the Inoculus. I would have thought there was enough damage here, but I guess not. There's also, of course, the fear of that, because our heroes had plenty of time to set up a gazillion traps. And with bad guy retreating, there's going to be more. Bad guy maxed out, but that is not a super threatening team. Phantom in addition to the Shove Shark, yeah. So, while Wuffalo is cute, and we've now invested, how much is it? 7? A 7. 12. 15 keys in this Wombo combo. I think you'd be hard-pressed to give the MVP of the game to anyone but Fire Ant. Alright, so armchair Phobie players. If you're in bad guy's shoes, what is your answer to Fire Ant? How are you resolving this? It's too late now, I think. Like, the game is effectively lost. If not literally. But earlier in the game, there were opportunities where you could have put different Phobies on the board, you could have positioned differently, you could have tried something else. But what would you have done? One thing I would be interested aside from that is maybe changing this map, like flipping the center row obstacles, the two outermost obstacles, like get rid of them and then put the hearts there. We are in fact stealing a Hevo 2.0. Oh, baby. How many games do you think dearh played trying to force Wuffalo and lost before they got this to submit? I would love to know. I wonder if dearh is just cooking people on the ladder with Wuffalo, because that would be hilarious. Sheep. Wait, what? That was weird. We haven't seen a moonwalking Phobie in a long time. And it was Wuffalo Will that moonwalked there. That was actually kind of funny. Bad guy just getting dismantled here. This game was over the second Wuffalo connected. It was over before that, but we'll say it was because of Wuffalo Will. I feel like I've said it a lot tonight, but there's really just not much to say to some of these games. Some of them you just... Bad guy's cooked. And in this case, it turns out it is... Wait. Oh, I thought you were going to get a second Wuffalo thing. But the current mind control wears off, I think, before you can do another one. I think the crazier part is that this game extended this long. Because, again, it really bothers me that the concession system is the way that it is. The only advantage of having the concession system the way it is here is we do get some crazy comebacks that you ordinarily would not, because people would just throw in the towel. Like, there's no way for them to have reasonably... Like, they wouldn't have even tried if the concession system was normal. And by that, I mean, like, you don't get penalized because people would just surrender and move on to the next game. Which 9 times out of 10 would probably just be fine. But like I said, you do miss out on the opportunity for a potentially really cool comeback. Dry eyes. Dude, how does this not end? You just don't have enough damage up here, I guess. Clearly not now. Panic point advantage. Phobie advantage. GG, bad guy. GG, hero. Well played. GG. And with that, chat, the queue is now once again empty. By the time this goes live on YouTube, you should be good to submit games because the patch will have already happened. That means that it won't break anything further. But if you're trying to submit a game before then, guess what? You're going to have a problem because we're not going to have a viewer game night before the next one breaks it all. But that's going to do it for tonight, chat. Went a little bit longer than I thought it was going to, but I wanted to make sure we cleaned out the queue. We'll have a modified streaming schedule next week. I don't think I'm going to be streaming for Variety tomorrow. I need to prep for this tournament. But speaking of tournaments, if you want to earn some coffee playing Phobies, hit up the Random Thoughts Discord for Monster of the Week. All the details are there. Of course, the devs sponsor that as well, just like they do me for being content affiliate. But that's going to do it for tonight. So as always, everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and tune in next time for more Random Thoughts.